I had a long day with back-to-back coaching sessions, so I figured I'd go for a walk because I need to clear my mind. Wanted to jump on here real quickly and just say, what happens when your gut is telling you one thing, your mind is telling you another, and your heart is telling you something completely different or leading you in a different direction? This is one of the there's so many painful and difficult things with healing after broken trust. This is just one of many challenges. And it's very difficult because our mind is thinking logically, our heart is thinking emotionally, and our intuition is speaking factually. But here's the problem. Infidelity or broken trust is not cut and dry, and it's not black and white. There's a lot involved, and I'll give you a perfect example. Talking to a couple the other day, and one of them was saying, my gut's just telling me what you're telling me is not true. They were talking to their spouse. My gut is telling me what you're telling me is not true. And the spouse came and said, I've been telling you the same thing consistently for 2 years. I've not changed my story. I've not added to my story. I've not taken away from my story. My story has been consistent for 2 years. Sorry, the sun's in my eye. I got to turn around. But the other partner kept saying, no, I'm sorry. My gut is just telling me something's off. And so what I tried to encourage this couple to do is to reframe their stories. For instance, a couple weeks ago, I was talking to this lady, and what she was saying was, my mother knew what my father was doing to me. She knew. I know my mother knew. She walked in and saw it. I knew my mother was knew what my father was doing to me. Now, keep in mind, this lady is slightly a little older. I think she's in her late 60s. So when she was younger, we're talking, 70 years ago. And she said, when my mother passed away, I didn't get a chance to ask her, why couldn't you protect me? Why didn't you protect me? You did not protect me. Why didn't you leave? And one of the things that I tried telling this person was, try to reframe your story. Now, I don't know, you don't know. The mom's not here anymore, so you can't ask. But 70 years ago, we didn't have the social networks we have today. 70 years ago, we didn't have the mindset that we do today, or the stigma with leaving a marriage or divorce. 70 years ago, a lot of women didn't work outside the home. So one of the things you have to think about is, what if in your mother's eyes, she was looking at her circumstances and thinking, if I leave, my daughters will be taken away from me and put into God only knows what home, exposed to God only knows what. If I leave, I'll have no income to feed my daughters. If I leave, I can't protect them. I can't provide them with a home. I can't feed them, blah, blah, blah. Maybe your mother, in her weird way, thought by staying she was protecting you. Now, I know a lot of you are watching this saying, you are crazy and I'm done following you. And I get it. I wouldn't be surprised if half of you do that. But you have to put yourself in the mindset of 70 years ago. It's just like, 30 years ago or 20 years ago, it was common that you whip your kids, you beat your kids, you hit your kids. Nowadays, it's considered abuse, or, it's just a different So we're looking at things with the lens of today. So I get you're probably looking at this, listening to me thinking that's crazy. I get that. You're looking at the lens out of today, but you got to put yourself in the mindset of 70 years ago. There was a huge stigma with divorce. Women didn't work. There isn't the social protections that we have today. Nowadays, we have women's shelters and government financial assistance and all of these programs, though they weren't around 70 years ago. So look at this from the mind frame of 70 years ago. This woman probably thought, I can't stand my husband. I hate my husband. I hate what he's doing. But what's the alternative? I leave and I have no place to go. My daughters are on the street. My daughters then get taken away from me. My daughters are then exposed to whoever home they go into and whatever they do. I won't see my daughters. I can't. I'm not saying I would make that decision, but I'm just trying to say, can you reframe your story? Anyways, getting back to what I was saying before, there's going to be times when your heart and your mind and your intuition are all giving you mixed signs, signals, and miscommunication. And no part of healing after betrayal is fun, fair, or feels good. And so when all else fails, if you're like, my gut's telling me this, but my mind's telling me this, and my heart's telling me this, if you come to a fork in the road and you're not sure which one to follow, which one to believe, which one to step forward and stand at, like, I'm going to move forward with my logic, or I'm going to move forward with what my heart's saying, or I'm going to move forward with what my intuition is saying. If you can't do that, if you're at a stalemate with you're not sure which way to move forward, try reframing your story. Try repositioning your thought process and see if that helps you decide what you want to follow, your intuition, your heart, and your mind. And best of luck.